Was good, was good, was good, was good. This is your boy, Tone DeShields II from Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. Man, the vibes is electric. I completely love the way you guys have been responding to the content. And know this, I do it because I love you. I do it because y'all my people. I look forward to chatting with y'all every single day. I hope y'all know that. This is the vibe I'm on. This is the energy I'm on. This is the wave of life. This is the vibrations. I hope you guys are fully locked in on your football talk because the NFL playoffs has been exciting, man. We've had 2 blowouts thus far. Every other game has been decided by, I believe, 4 or less points, 3 or less points, something like that. So we're definitely going to dissect that game last night. The Cowboys crushed, embarrassed, bamboozled, befuddled. They completely took it to Tampa Bay in their own stadium, in their own city. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect the game to go that way. I didn't really expect it to be that disgraceful. I didn't expect it to be that disgraceful for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. For the simple fact that, it's Tom Brady. That's the thing. It's Tom Brady. And I understand Tom Brady is on the backside of his career. I totally get that, right? But I just expected more from the GOAT. And maybe we've immortalized. No, we have immortalized Tom Brady as the GOAT. We've immortalized him to the point where we think that no matter what game it is, he's in. And he's shown that in spots throughout the season. But overall, when you think about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as a whole, they've just been a bad team this season. And they were lucky to get into the playoffs. But that's not what I'm going to do. That's not what we're going to do here at Chalk It Up Sports. I'm going to keep it funky. I'm going to keep it real. I'm not going to lead y'all astray. I'm going to keep it 100. The Dallas Cowboys did they thing. And I'm not going to front. I'm not going to sit here and come on my platform and be disingenuous. Yeah, I'm an Eagles fan. Y'all see how I carry it. Y'all know my vibe. I'm an Eagles fan, which means by nature, by blood, by birthright, I hate the Cowboys. I hate everything about them. But game recognized game. Real recognized real. Bottom line. RIP to my cousin. Long live Reek. Long live Reds. Game recognized game. Real recognized real. Bottom line. And what I saw last night, I saw a quarterback in Dak Prescott wheeling and dealing. I saw Dak Prescott just dicing the Buccaneers defense. And you heard, I love hearing Troy Aikman break it down because he was explaining how the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were trying to disguise things. They were trying so hard to make the defense look like one thing and actually be executed as another. And Dak was just responding. And he was so twitchy. He was so efficient. I tweeted this, by the way. He was so twitchy and efficient in how he was dissecting that Buccaneers defense. It was so good to see. People, I know a lot of y'all don't like Dak Prescott. I know a lot of y'all hate Dak Prescott, but I'm one of the people that's not afraid to say I think Dak Prescott is a pretty good quarterback. I think Dak Prescott is a top 10 quarterback. I always have thought that. No matter how I feel about our relationship from an Eagles-Cowboys perspective, I've always thought that Dak Prescott was a top 10 quarterback. I don't care what anyone says. I'm not going to be totally biased on his platform. I hold it down for my birds. Y'all know that. But I just feel like Dak Prescott, man, he needed that game to go that way last night. Threw for over 300 yards, 4 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. He was just dominant. I love how he used his legs when necessary. It just seemed like he was quickly deciphering what he wanted to do. His decision making was flawless last night. No turnovers, which is huge. No turnovers. So, man, that was a real exciting game last night. But the reason you guys are here is because you guys want to know who the big kahunas are in the NFC, the top dogs. And we know it's a 3-horse race. I understand the Dallas Cowboys did what they did to the Vikings. That was exciting. That was good to see. But expect the Philadelphia Eagles to bring them back down to earth. The three heavy hitters in the NFC has always been the Philadelphia Eagles, the 49ers, and the Cowboys. It's always been that way from beginning, middle, and end of the season. Say what you want about either franchise. Feel how you want to feel. But the bottom line is those three franchises, the Eagles, the 49ers, and the Cowboys, have been the top three dogs in the NFC. Because the top three dogs in the AFC are the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Bengals. Right? Those are the six top teams in the NFL, in my opinion. Those are the six teams who can potentially win it all. Potentially. That's just the reality. No matter how you feel, the reality is there are six teams in this league that can win it all right now. I don't think the Giants can win it all. I don't think the Jags can win it all. Who else is in the AFC that made it through? That's it. You know, I think the Jags and the Giants are just happy to be here. They've had some impressive wins. They both had impressive wins in this playoff and this wild card round. But those two teams just aren't in the thick of it. They're just not, unfortunately. But when you think about the Eagles, you think about the Chiefs, you think about the Cowboys, you think about the Bills, you think about the 49ers, you think about the Bengals. Those are teams that can potentially win it all because they have the talent. And I think the coaching is good enough on all six teams. But the three best teams, like I said, in the NFC, like I already mentioned, Eagles, Cowboys, 49ers. In whatever order you want to put them in, you do that. You do that. Because I feel like it's any given Sunday with those three teams. That's just the reality. It's any given Sunday with those three teams. If those three teams played each other 10 times apiece, it'll probably be a 50-50 split all the way around. Those teams are going to be competitive in the playoffs. Those teams are going to be competitive. This divisional round is so dope because you see three NFC East teams in the divisional round: Giants, Cowboys, Eagles. They used to call us the NFC least. They used to call us the NFC least. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. But now it's the beast of the East. The Giants are resurging. The Eagles are back on top. The Cowboys are doing what they do. You feel what I'm saying? So let's be excited about the division being competitive again, because that's only going to make the other teams better. That's only going to make the Philadelphia Eagles better. That's only going to make Jalen Hurts better with Dak Prescott doing what he's doing. Daniel Jones starting to get his career back on track. We don't know what the Commanders are doing. The Commanders are the little brother. The Commanders are, they're the stepchild. The Commanders can't play on this side of the field. You dig what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, the Commanders can't even lead the bleachers. The Commanders better stay their ass on the bleachers. Because right now, this is big bro talk. This is big balls talk. You feel what I'm saying? They can't sit on this side. Don't come to this lunch table, Washington. This lunch table is reserved for playoff teams only. This lunch table is reserved for teams that made the divisional round only, right? As a matter of fact, the Washington Commanders, they're dead weight. They're dead weight. They holding the division back. Can we trade somebody? Is there a way that teams can swap divisions? Can we trade? Can we do something? I don't know. Like damn, can we trade? Can we trade the can we trade the Seahawks for the Washington Commanders? I know that ain't gonna make sense from a geographical standpoint, but can we trade the Washington Commanders for the Seahawks? Can we please? Because they dead weight, man. They're dead weight. Talk to me, y'all. Like, I need to know if I'm tripping or not. Talk to me. We got Quincy the Great in the building. We got Smitty Eagle 373, Drew Johnson, EC1 Football. Man, I appreciate y'all for locking in on the content. Y'all are loyal to the soil. Best believe that, man. Best believe that. So, again, Eagles, 49ers, Cowboys, those are the three teams that can come out of the NFC. Who's going to represent the NFC? Obviously, I'm an Eagles fan. I'm pulling for my squad, right? I'm pulling for the Eagles to do it. But ultimately, it could be any one of those teams. Flat out. It could be either one of those teams. And I think we all know that. I think we all know in our hearts that as good as the Eagles are, any one of those teams can come out the NFC. Any one of them. Straight like that. So it's going to be important for the quarterback play to be top notch. You know, it's going to be important for Jalen Hurts to play his best football right now. You know, the last 5 games for the Philadelphia Eagles has kind of been mid grade. You know, the last 5 games, the Philadelphia Eagles are 3-2. They lost to the Cowboys and the Saints, as we already know, and they struggled against the Saints. I think that was because of coaching for the most part, but regardless, during the last 5 games, the Eagles dominated the Giants in the first matchup and ended up sweeping the season series 2-0. But that final game was interesting because Jalen Hurts was coming back from an injury. Remember, we lost Jalen Hurts for about 3 weeks, for about 2 or 3 weeks. So it was interesting to see him come back playing that Week 18 Giants game and see how the team looked. The team definitely responded. The team definitely moved the ball with ease, and they almost forced turnovers. But the Eagles just didn't capitalize in the red zone, and that's something that has to change in the playoffs, right? Your red zone offense has to be opportunistic. You have to take advantage of every chance you have in the red zone because you never know when you're gonna get there again. Also, other teams are playing their best football. You want to make sure you're checking all the necessary boxes, right? You want to make sure you're doing that. And like I said, the offense just wasn't as explosive without Jalen Hurts. The team responded when he came back, right? So it's going to be interesting to see how the Giants play Jalen Hurts. It's going to be really fascinating, intriguing to see how they play the Philadelphia Eagles for the 3rd time. Because we saw the Giants last week against the Vikings. They completely changed the way they play defense. They weren't blitzing like that. They were playing more of a Jonathan Gannon, more of a Vic Fangio style of defense, like most of the NFL is playing right now. Bend but don't break. And they did what they did. Kirk Cousins ain't running nowhere. You ain't got to worry about him taking off. So they felt like there's no need to blitz, really. Let's let our front 4 do their thing, and we'll blitz occasionally, and let's just drop back and play coverage. Let's just drop back and play zone. So that was interesting to see the Giants completely shift the way they play defense. That was interesting. But I think they go back to their ways against the Philadelphia Eagles. Wink Martindale, each matchup, he's been trying to blitz Jalen Hurts and try to knock him off his spots, but he hasn't really been successful in doing so. Jalen Hurts has always gutted the Giants, with the explosive play battle because of Wink Martindale's play calling style, because of his scheme, so on and so forth. So I fully expect the Philadelphia Eagles to win that game. As a matter of fact, even though the Giants did what they did, dropping the 30 ball, I believe it was, on what did they beat them by, as a matter of fact? What was the score? Let me just double check that. I don't want to give anybody too much credit. All right, so Giants beat the Vikings 31-24. That was a very good victory, beat them by a touchdown. So yeah, the Giants played their best game, but I don't think that's who they are. You get what I'm saying? I think that was matchup based. I honestly thought the Giants were going to beat the Vikings anyway. So I just think the Eagles are just a better team. They're more talented. You can make an argument about who has the better coaching staff. We can debate that. But in terms of the talent just overpowering the Giants, it's just no comparison. We saw what we did to them on their home turf. We saw what that looked like. And that wasn't a pretty sight for a Giants fan. Mr. Ralph Lauren, welcome to the show. He says, Giants are sweet. Vikings have been a liability all year. They're not ready for Philly. The link Saturday night. It's going to be buzzing. It's going to be buzzing. Man, I'm not going to be at the game, but all of you guys that's going to be at the game, I expect y'all to be in rare form. I expect y'all to be in y'all bag. So, when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles and injury updates, let's transition to that. Jalen Hurts, his shoulder is relatively still a mystery. We don't know where he is with that. I expect Jalen Hurts to be about 75 to 80% going into that game. I think 85% may be wishful thinking. I know I talked about that, I think earlier this week or yesterday or maybe last week. I think 85%. I think 85% is a bit of a wishful thinking. I think 80% is fair to 75 to 80% is fair to expect from him. So, what kind of Jalen Hurts will we get? I think Jalen Hurts is going to play his brand of football no matter what. Like I said to you guys, that ain't going to stop him. It's the playoffs. Jalen Hurts is letting it rock straight like that. Then Lane Johnson, man, he has the torn adductor, not abductor. That's your butt muscle. He has a torn adductor, which is, in the abdomen. So Lane Johnson, we saw him practicing sometime late last week, and he's going to continue to be, rehabbing and all that kind of stuff. And Smitty, I actually think, to your point, right? I think Jalen Hurts does feel a lot better than what we think, but I'm trying to be a little judicial about it. I'm trying to be realistic in terms of what we know, and I think 80% is a safe bet in terms of where he's going to be in his recovery. But again, this is the NFL. At this point in the season, no one, and I repeat, no one is 100%. So we got to keep that in mind as well, right? And 80% Jalen Hurts at this point in the season is, I'll take it. On top of that, Josh Sweat, they still have him questionable on the injury report. He's still questionable, but I think he's going to play. I don't see a scenario where he doesn't. He's been practicing. He's back on the practice field. And then Avonte Maddox, they still haven't put him on IR. So that tells me they think he can come back at some point. I don't know how plausible that is. Well, it's plausible, but I don't know how possible it is. It's plausible because they haven't put him on IR. But is it possible? I don't know, man. But this team is a better team when Avonte Maddox is on the field. It's a fact. This defense is top-notch with Maddox being on the field. When Maddox not on the field, the Eagles are very, very vulnerable in the slot, which exposes Kaiser White, exposes TJ Edwards, exposes guys like Josiah Scott, exposes even the safeties, right? They're going to have to come down and be a little bit more helpful in coverage. But when you have Avonte Maddox there, it allows for more flexibility with Jonathan Gannon and his play calling. But we do have C.J. Gardner-Johnson back, which is huge. And 9 times out of 10, if Avonte can't do it at all, you're going to start to see C.J. playing that hybrid role, going back and forth between the slot and the safety, depending on the package, right? But overall, I think the Eagles are in good shape. Sure, there are teams dealing with what they're dealing with, and everyone has issues. But I think the Eagles, all things considered, are in a pretty good spot. That's my honest opinion. Because Lane said he's going to play. Jalen obviously is playing, right? Josh Sweat said he's going to be ready. So really the main piece we're missing is Avonte Maddox, but that's such a crucial piece. Especially when you get deeper into the playoffs and you got receivers that can take advantage of the slot, like a Deebo Samuel, like a CeeDee Lamb and a T.Y. Hilton, like a Brandon Ayuk, even wide receiver, even running backs right now that can take advantage of the slot. Christian McCaffrey and Tony Pollard. I love the way the Cowboys and the 49ers use their respective running backs. And I kind of think that's the best case scenario for a Kenny Gainwell. I think when the Eagles decided to draft Kenny Gainwell, they were hoping for an Austin Eckler type, a CMC type, a Tony Pollard type, right? I'm not saying Kenny Gainwell is on their level from a talent perspective, but from a skill set, from a style, stylistically, I think they were hoping for an Austin Eckler CMC type, right? And think about it. Shane Steichen coached on the Chargers. Nick Sirianni coached on the Chargers, right? They had, so they're familiar with Austin Eckler. Most notably, Shane Steichen is familiar with Austin Eckler, and that's his type of running back, a running back that can run between the tackles, or more so, run that outside zone scheme, and then also can catch the ball from the backfield. I think that's what they were hoping for with Kenny Gainwell. So if Kenny Gainwell can ever take his game to another level, you'll start to see Kenny Gainwell in the slot more consistently, being used in that CMC, Austin Eckler, Tony Pollard type role. So, yeah, man, there's a lot to look forward to with your Philadelphia Eagles. There's a lot to talk about, a lot to discuss. I can't wait into the game. Eagles versus Giants, part 3. Who would have thought? Who would have expected this? This is storybook. This is something that goes down in the legacy charts. This is what goes down in the history books for years to come. especially if it ends with a Super Bowl victory? Can you imagine if the Philadelphia Eagles had to run through their entire NFC East rivals going to the Super Bowl and then winning? Can you imagine if the Eagles beat the Giants in the divisional round, then they end up getting the Cowboys and beating them in the NFC Championship, and then they end up getting the Bills or the Chiefs in the Super Bowl and they beat them? That would be an all-time performance by Jalen Hurts and his team. Because they went through the gauntlet. They went through the divisional gauntlet, and then they went through the best quarterback in the NFL, arguably. You dig what I'm saying? So this is an exciting time to be an Eagles fan, but it's also a scary time. I'm not saying fear your opponent, but I'm saying, damn, it's nerve-wracking, isn't it? It's nerve-wracking for me at the very least. See, when I watch games, I get edgy. You know what I mean? It's hard for me to sit still. My nerves is bad. Don't talk to me about nothing serious. I'm focused strictly on this game. Straight like that. But again, how do the Eagles beat the Giants? How do the 49ers beat the Cowboys? How do the Cowboys beat the 49ers? It's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be something that we have to break down and really analyze, because I think the clear-cut winner on one side of the bracket is Eagles beating the Giants. I think that's more. I think that's an easier equation to complete. That's an easier algorithm to compute. But when it comes to that 49ers Cowboys matchup, man, that's going to be a hell of a game. And that's a coin toss, if you ask me, because you still don't know what Brock Purdy is going to do as the lights get brighter. And then Dak Prescott looks like he's on a mission. But the Cowboys are one of those teams that are boom or bust. They ball out or they flame out. That's who they are. That's who they've been. But right now, they're booming. Dak Prescott is playing. He's sharp right now. So we'll see if he can sustain that. Now, we know the trend. See, it's all about trends. Who has this quarterback been? Who has this team been for the majority of the season? For the majority of the season, Dak Prescott has been a turnover machine. He had a game, one of the first games in a long time, that he hasn't turned the ball over. So has he turned over a new leaf, or was this a one-off? It's going to be something to think about. But if the San Francisco 49ers want to beat the Cowboys, they got to force turnovers. They got to keep the Cowboys away from third and short situations. And they can't allow CeeDee Lamb to feast in the slot. On top of that, I think the Cowboys, their most important piece on offense, and that's not named Dak Prescott, I personally believe the most important piece for the Dallas Cowboys on their offense is Tony Pollard. Not CeeDee Lamb, not Ezekiel Elliott, not Dalton Schultz, who was a good tight end, who has great chemistry with Dak Prescott, which is something that needs to be paid attention to. But I think the most important piece for the Dallas Cowboys on their offense is Tony Pollard, because Tony Pollard allows for them to do so many different things. And the way he runs the ball with such intensity. He's not really a power back, but he's a physical runner. He's a very physical runner, and he allows their offense to just do so many different things when he's on the field. Ezekiel Elliott, he's more of a red zone back right now in his career, a little bit limited in terms of what you can do in him right now. But Tony Pollard, man, he allows them to pass the ball to the running back. He's an outside runner. Like he's shifty, he's elusive, he's strong, runs with power. Tony Pollard is just a really good running back for what the Dallas Cowboys want to do. He makes them a real threat. If you limit Tony Pollard, I think the Dallas Cowboys are very beatable. That's not saying CeeDee Lamb is not the man. That's not saying Dalton Schultz is not a good tight end. That's not saying T.Y. Hilton isn't reliable or Michael Gallup. It's not saying that. Or that's not saying Dak Prescott's not good. What I'm saying is for every team, there's always there's always one or two pieces on each team that if that piece is working, if those two pieces are working, they're unbeatable. They're harder to beat, rather. I feel like if Tony Pollard is cooking, the Dallas Cowboys are really hard to beat. That's my opinion, though. When it comes to the San Francisco 49ers, I personally feel when Christian McCaffrey or Deebo Samuel, if they're cooking, because remember, Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey, they're used in the running game, the passing game. You'll see Deebo lined up at running back. You'll see Christian McCaffrey lined up in the slot on the same play. You'll see Brandon Ayuk on the boundary. Then you got George Kittle somewhere. Like, I think the San Francisco 49ers, that offense, if that offense is cooking, if Deebo Samuel is cooking in his bag, whether he's running the ball, catching the ball, if Deebo Samuel is hard, even CMC, those two pieces in particular, if those two pieces are doing whatever they want, they're a hard team to beat, right? The Giants, if Saquon Barkley is cooking, they're hard to beat. The Eagles, if Dallas Goedert, see, I think the Eagles are very interesting because they have talent all over the board, but there are a couple pieces, in my opinion, that if they're cooking, I'm not talking about the quarterbacks right now. I'm talking about the skill position guys. If Dallas Goedert is cooking, right? If Miles Sanders is cooking, the Eagles are unbeatable. Unbeatable. Some people will say if AJ Brown's cooking, if Devontae, so on and so forth. But I personally think the most important piece on the defense, the most important piece on the offense might be Dallas Goedert or Miles Sanders. It's possible. Now, some people may argue that the offense or the coaches don't use Miles Sanders enough. People would argue that, and I totally understand that. So that begs the question, how can he be so important if they don't use him like that? I get it. But when he is being used, think about that Giants game. Miles Sanders was unstoppable. If Miles Sanders is cooking, doing his thing, the Eagles are really hard to beat. They're really hard to beat. So, I'm not really concerned about the Eagles offense. It's the Eagles defense that, has to make sure they're doing their job perfectly. You guys already know I'm a producer and an on-air talent or host for Jacob Sports, and I was producing the football playbook with my man Rick Saratella, and we had on Mike Tenier from Football Outsiders, the analytics gurus. We had him on today, and he brought up a very interesting stat line, or a very interesting stat, and when it comes to the Eagles pass defense. And I want to get your guys' perspective on this, right? So how we're always hard on Jonathan Gannon's defense in terms of defending the wide receivers, defending the slot, so on and so forth, right? We want the corners to play up more. We're always on Jonathan Gannon about that. Now, Jonathan Gannon's defense isn't terrible. It's just his philosophy I'm not a fan of. But overall, this defense is productive. But hear me out on this. We've had concerns about the pass defense as of late. Let me give you these numbers. When it comes to the Eagles pass defense versus number one wide receivers or number two or slot or worse, I'm going to give you the pass defense rankings, right? So when it comes to the Eagles pass defense versus the number one wide receiver, the Eagles are ranked second in the NFL. That's great. When it comes to defending the number one wide receiver, the Philadelphia Eagles pass defense is ranked second, according to Football Outsiders, via Mike Tenier. When it comes to the Eagles pass defense defending number two wide receivers, they're ranked fourth. Still very, very good. This is where things get really interesting. The Eagles pass defense versus slot receivers or worse, they're ranked 22nd in the NFL. So when it comes to defending number one wide receivers, the Eagles pass defense is ranked the number two. Scratch that. The Eagles pass defense versus number one wide receivers are ranked number two. The Eagles pass defense versus number two wide receivers are ranked fourth in the NFL. The Eagles pass defense versus slot wide receivers or worse are ranked 22nd. So what does that tell you, Eagles fans? What does that tell you about the Philadelphia Eagles defense? What does that tell you about the weaknesses? I know a lot of us have had a lot of bad things to say about Darius Slay as of late. Darius Slay, obviously, he kind of came down to earth a little bit. He made the All-Pro team according to the National Football League's Players Association. He was ranked an All-Pro according to his peers. But when it came to the Associated Press, the AP, they didn't have him as an All-Pro. But we've had things to say about Darius Slay and how he's been defending guys. But according to the numbers, according to the analytics, and you guys know me, I'm more of a storyline guy. I'm more of a eye test guy, right? But when it comes to the numbers, the Philadelphia Eagles, they put the clamps on number one wide receivers. When it comes to the number two wide receiver, the Philadelphia Eagles put the clamps on them. But when it comes to slot guys, when it comes to anybody worse than that, we have a hard time defending them. Why? Because the slot is vulnerable. Why? Because Avonte Maddox is hurt. And how much faith can we put in Josiah Scott for an extended period of time? We got C.J. Gardner-Johnson back, and he's going to be playing that hybrid role from slot to safety, depending on the package, right? Depending on the package. But right now, the Philadelphia Eagles are ranked 22nd in the NFL when it comes to defending slot wide receivers. If I know that, if the Football Outsiders know that, if Mike Tanier from Football Outsiders know that, you don't think the rest of the NFL knows that? So you're going to see in this Giants game, you're going to see if we make it to the NFC Championship, you're going to see whoever the Eagles continue to play, you're going to see them attack the Eagles in the slot. So I think above all else, the Philadelphia Eagles need to make sure they shore up that slot area. They need to make sure that their coverage is as good as they can get it in the slot. They need to make sure the pass rush is getting home to make sure they're not as vulnerable. But again, say what you want about Jonathan Gannon. The Eagles' defense has actually been pretty good. For the most part, they've been good. Do we disagree with the philosophies? Definitely. We're not into the bend but don't break. Jim Schwartz was into that. The sticks defense and all that. Bend but don't break. We didn't force that many turnovers under Jim Schwartz. And during the Super Bowl season, we did, but that during his tenure, we didn't force that many turnovers. And in Jonathan Gannon's first season, we didn't force that many turnovers. This season, we forced a lot of turnovers. We haven't forced as many as we were earlier in the season. But again, the Philadelphia Eagles, they are a team that's probably the most complete in the NFL. And right now, the weakness is the slot. How will they shore that up? We'll see. We'll see. But, like I said, this NFC right now, I know a lot of people was down on the NFC, but, the NFC, sure, it's very top heavy. You got the Eagles, Cowboys, 49ers, and then it's kind of like everybody else. Whereas though the AFC, you got Chiefs, Bills, Bengals, Chargers, so on and so forth. And yeah, we all know what happened with the Chargers, but the AFC is loaded with top tier quarterbacks and whatnot, and the NFC not so much. So, when you think about the 49ers, Cowboys, and the Eagles, it goes through them. Sure, if the Eagles continue what they're doing and they maintain home field advantage, throughout the playoffs, they're going to have it, but they got to continue to win. Like the path goes through Philly, but the Eagles have the smoothest path to the Super Bowl. They have the smoothest path. They have it. They got to take advantage of this matchup against the Giants. They can't. As a matter of fact, this is my thought when it comes to the Giants. I think it's important that the Eagles get the ball first. I know Nick Sirianni is always deferring so he can get the ball at the half. But me personally, I think it's important. I think the Eagles should start off fast. I think they should receive the ball, get that ball in Jalen Hurts' hands quick, and let the offense heat up, because the offense has been sluggish. Receive that kick, go drive down the field, blow the top off the link. If you go down there and score first, you blow the top off the link. The Giants won't know what hit them. They won't know what hit them. You want to set the tone in the link. You got to set the tone. You can't defer, play defense, and let the Giants get that ball first. Now, if you do and then you force a turnover or whatever, cool. But I think the Eagles should take the ball first, drive down the field, score, and blow the top off the link. The Giants won't be able to come back from it. I'm telling you. They just won't. What do you guys think? Do you guys think we should defer, or should we take the ball first, get Jalen Hurts going early? How do you guys think we should do it? Right? And there's so many things that can materialize from these scenarios. If the Eagles kick the ball and they defend and they force a turnover, and then they turn that turnover into some points, then the link is really going to go off. But if you take the ball first, you get good field position, and then you drive down that field and you score a touchdown early with Jalen Hurts, then the link is going to blow off as well. So it's all about taking advantage of the opportunity. But I think that Jalen Hurts needs to touch that ball first. The Eagles need to get that ball first, man. Anthony Dwayne, he says, I agree. Also, the Giants are going to try to control from kickoff, receive the ball first. I agree. I think the Giants are going to try to play the time of possession battle, and I also think the Giants are going to try to play they're going to try to win on first down. You're going to know how this game is going if the Eagles are winning early on first and second down. But the Giants are going to want to muck this game up. They're going to want to shorten the game. They don't want to get into a shootout with the Eagles. That's why you want to score first, put the pressure on them. They don't want to score. They don't want to get into a shootout because they can't do it. They're not built for a shootout, but we are. We are. You get the Giants down early, you put that pressure on Daniel Jones. Watch. Just watch. But again, I think this is something that the Eagles are fully in control of. They're in control of their destiny. Straight like that. Let's get to some of these comments, man. Mint Diggity, he says, kick him right in the teeth. You already know, man. Quasi the Great, he says, we got to play man in this game. You got to be careful with that. You got to be careful with playing man, because I'm not saying don't do it, but you got to be careful, because if you turn your back on Daniel Jones, he's just going to run. He's just going to run all day. That's what he wants to do. He's going to run. Mint Diggity says vulnerable against the slot receiver. Yep, you're absolutely right. We got to tighten that up. Quasi the Great says we always let unkind players kill us, or unknown. He probably meant unknown. But yeah, you're right. We kind of do let unknown players get the best of us sometimes. Quasi the Great says it's definitely Miles. I've been saying this since last season. Miles is very important. And Mendiggity agrees. You got to let Sanders cook. I agree with that. And then Mr. Forlorn is right about, the 49ers Cowboys matchup. That's a pick'em game. I have no idea who's going to win that game. I have no idea. You want to know a crazy stat as well that I learned about those 49ers? Whoever plays the 49ers, right? If you play the 49ers the following week, teams typically lose. I'll put it to you like this. Every team that's played the 49ers, the following week, that team has lost. So that record is 0-15. Teams are 0-15. Teams are 0-15 the week after they play the 49ers. That means the 49ers beat teams up. So that begs the question, do we actually want the Cowboys to beat the 49ers so they can come into the NFC Championship hobbled? You dig what I'm saying? Should we want the Cowboys to beat the 49ers because of the 49ers, because of teams' track record after they play the 49ers? Teams, for some reason, after they play the 49ers, they lose. And it's happened 15 times. And it hasn't failed since. It's something about that 49ers team that beats the opposition up. And they just can't really do anything. Iron Mizzle, he says 49ers haven't played anyone really on their winning streak. That's a good point as well. That's a good point. Some people say the 49ers had an easy schedule. They say it about the Eagles. It is what it is. But, who would you rather play? The Eagles, let's say the Eagles beat the Giants, which I believe they will. Who do you want to play? Do you want to play the 49ers in the NFC Championship, or do you want to play the Cowboys? Let me know. Because I'm still kind of torn about it. We've been live for about 40 minutes. You guys probably got me for another 5 to 10 minutes if we can get out of here. I appreciate y'all, man. Make sure y'all continue to smash that like button. And all you guys who are watching the live stream after the fact, those of you who can't really watch it live, right? I appreciate y'all just as much as the people that's actually in the live stream. You guys are, all of you guys are the foundation of this channel. And the channel moves as the people move, right? The more engaged you are, the better the content will be. The more active the content will be, the easier it will be to find the content. So make sure you guys stay engaged, even if you're watching this live. If you're watching this after the live ends, just know that you're appreciated. And make sure you guys continue to smash that like button. Anthony Dwayne says, I want San Francisco. Okay. Tell me why, Anthony. Tell me why. We got some people on the live stream. So if you're just hopping in, I want to know, who do you guys want in the NFC Championship game if the Eagles get there, when they get there? We're putting that into the universe right now. When the Eagles get to the NFC Championship, who do you guys want to play and why? Who do you want to play in the NFC Championship and why? But in the meantime, we've been talking about, the top 3 teams in the NFC. Eagles, Cowboys, and 49ers, and they've just been so dominant whenever they play teams for the most part. I think out of those 3 teams, the Cowboys are probably the most boom or bust. That's not saying they're a bad team. I don't want it to get misconstrued. I think the Cowboys are definitely boom or bust because they have games where they're just so dominant, and they have games where you just don't recognize it. Right? You haven't really seen that from the Eagles on a consistent basis. You haven't really seen that from the 49ers on a consistent basis. So, we've also discussed that, the Eagles are in a very favorable position. They got the Giants this week, and they win they win damn near every matchup battle. Every matchup you could think of, they probably have the advantage in that game, and they're going to be at the link. And I think it's going to be important for the Eagles to start off fast. Get the ball first, drive down the field, score. If they play defense first, a quick 3 and out. Quick. If you give up 1 first down, okay. But nothing beyond that. So I'm excited for everything. Another thing, if you guys are just hopping in, a stat that I brought up when it comes to the Eagles pass defense. I know a lot of people get on the pass defense. They're really critical of it. The Eagles pass defense versus number 1 wide receivers. And this stat is via Football Outsiders. Mike Tenier was on the Football Playbook via Jacob Sports. He had an interview with Rick Saratella, and he was breaking down the Eagles pass defense based off of number 1 wide receivers, number 2 wide receivers, and slot wide receivers are worse. And the Eagles pass defense versus number 1 wide receivers, they're ranked 2nd in the NFL. The Eagles pass defense versus number 2 wide receivers, they're ranked 4th in the NFL. And the Eagles pass defense versus slot or worse wide receivers, they're ranked 22nd. So that tells me the Eagles' their major flaw is defending the slot, right? And it's really not even the talent. It's whoever's there. That area of the field is hard for the Eagles to defend right now. So that's going to be something to pay attention to. Best believe any team we play going forward will try to attack the slot because that's the only place they can consistently win against the Philadelphia Eagles. That's the only area of the field that they can consistently win. J Love, welcome to the show, my man. I appreciate you, my guy. He says the link is going to be rocking. I want the 49ers so bad. Can't wait to beat that hype train. I ain't mad at that, my dog. I ain't mad at that, Playboy. Anthony Dwayne. He says, as much as I would love to put the Cowboys in the NFC Championship game at home, Dak worries me. It would pain me to see them advance. Put them out now. I feel that. I feel that. I ain't gonna argue with you. It would kill my spirit if the Cowboys beat us to go to the Super Bowl. It would kill my spirit. I would lose all feeling in all my limbs. I wouldn't even know how to react. I would go out of commission. You wouldn't be able to find me. You'll find me at some monk temple, at some Buddhist temple, just with my head shaved, seeking new life, trying to renew myself. If the Eagles lost to the Cowboys in the NFC Championship, I would turn into a whole nother person. I'm selling all my belongings and I'm going on a hike in Tibet and living amongst the people Because I won't be able to live. I won't be able to live that down. I'm disconnected from all social media. I'm disappearing. I'm telling everybody this. Every content creator, I'm telling everybody this. If the Eagles ever lost to the Cowboys in the NFC Championship, I'm just going to disappear. Oh man, I love y'all, man. I love y'all, man. Y'all make this fun. J Love says, Dak worries you? That's odd. But no, I'd rather watch an anxiety-free game versus the 49ers. We lose to the Cowboys, I'd move to Alaska and never forgive them. Yo, J Love, I'm telling you, if we ever lose to the Cowboys in the NFC Championship, I swear on everything I love, yo, I'm selling all my belongings and I'm moving to Peru. Flat out. You're not gonna find me nowhere. You're not gonna find me. Oh man. Desert Eagle 90, my brother, what's going on, man? Much love. Hope all is well with you and the family. Hope everybody's healthy. No bad news. No bad news. Oh man. Anthony Dwayne says Dak always seemed to play well against us for some reason. Yeah, I don't know what that is, man. That is very strange. I really don't know what that is. Quez said I'm fighting. LOL. I'm serious, y'all. Don't look for me. If the Eagles lose to the Cowboys in the NFC Championship, don't look for me. Don't even try to find me. Don't even try to hit me up on Twitter. Don't try to comment under one of my videos and be like, yo, where you been at, bro? Don't look for me. Don't look for me. Y'all gonna see me on some National Geographic documentary. Like digging for ginger root or some shit. Y'all gonna see me in the middle of nowhere. Y'all gonna see me ice fishing in Antarctica, living in a damn hut. I'm serious. like Desert Eagle, I'm not playing, bro. We lose to them in the NFC Championship, I'm disappearing off the face of the earth. It's gonna be like Thanos. It's gonna be like Thanos just said. It's gonna be just like that. I am inevitable. Oh man. Desert Eagle says, bro, I will leave you two forever. Quincy the Great says, I could not take care of those Cowboys fans if we lose to them. Bro, I would die. I would probably die. I'll probably have a heart attack. I probably suffer from a stroke, man. Seriously, y'all. But overall, man, all jokes aside, it's going to be a really entertaining divisional round. It's going to be really entertaining. Dak Prescott is playing good football right now. Brock Purdy, man, playing really good football. I'm starting to pay attention to him. I'm starting to pay attention because Brock Purdy, that last game, he went 18 for 30, 332 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. I got to ask you guys, is he for real? Do you guys think Brock Purdy is for real? Or is he bound to fall off of a rookie cliff? Will his lack of experience get the better of him? Let me know. On top of that, man, Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel, those guys are just weapons. They make his job easier. Kyle Shanahan makes Brock Purdy's job easier. So much easier. I've never seen a coaching exhibition like it. Like Brock Purdy, if you pay attention to that Seahawks game, granted the Seahawks don't really have a good defense, but if you pay attention, Brock Purdy was throwing to windows as big as the Jumbotron in Jerry World. Like he was throwing through bay windows. There was no defender within 10 to 15 yards every time Brock Purdy threw the ball. But you saw there were moments where he almost threw some picks. You saw where he threw some bad passes when it was contested. So, he's definitely flawed. And also on top of that, when you rush him, I noticed this. When you blitz him, or not really blitz, but when the pass rush gets to him, he always bears left. He always bears to his left, no matter what. And then he doesn't really have a plan after that. But what happens is the 49ers skill position guys are so good at what they do, they create passing lanes for him. They always make themselves available. So it makes him look like a better playmaker than what he is. But you think the Seahawks pass rush is as good as the Philadelphia Eagles? Hell no. Hell no. J Love says we had similar issues with Kirk Cousins. He will always beat us. I don't get it. Well, guess what? We broke that curse, didn't we, J Love? We broke that curse. We took it to Kirk Cousins. We whooped that ass earlier this year. J Love says, "No, you're right, Anthony, and it's strange. He's not great, but every time we play against Dak, our defense act like we see the we see the boogeyman. We don't even play bad against Brady. It's always Dak." I know, man. It's weird. It's really weird. I can't understand that either. But 49ers, man, it's going to be really interesting to see how that thing pans out against the Cowboys, man. And the Cowboys got to go on the road again. They got to go to San Francisco, man. That game is really a coin flip. But the Eagles, man, the Eagles, everything is in front of them. They're in control of their destiny. Everyone knows it. When the Eagles are playing their best football, they're the best team in the NFL. Everyone knows that. When the Eagles are playing their best football, they are the most talented, the deepest, the most well-rounded, the most dominant team in the NFL. So it's going to be important for Jalen Hurts to bring his A game, right? It's going to be important for guys like, Jason Kelsey, Lane Johnson to be on their P's and Q's. It's going to be important for A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, Devontae Smith, Quez Watkins, Miles Sanders, Kenny Gainwell, Boston Scott. It's going to be important for Jordan Mailata to be on their P's and Q's, man. Isaac Samalu, Landon Dickerson, Jack Driscoll, if he happens to get any snaps. It's going to be important for the coaching staff to be top-notch. Nick Sirianni, Jonathan Gannon, Shane Steichen, Brian Robinson, Tracy Rocker, Nick Rallis, Jeff Stoutland. You know what I mean? Denard Wilson, Denard Robinson, the DB coach. I think it's Denard Wilson. It's going to be important for him to be on his P's and Q's, man. Kevin Patullo, be on your P's and Q's. Defense, Josh Sweat, Hassan Reddick, Fletcher Cox, Javon Hargrave, Milton Williams, Robert Quinn, Brandon Graham, got to be on your P's and Q's. TJ Edwards, Kaiser White, got to be on your P's and Q's. Nakobe Dean, got to be on your P's and Q's. Darius Slay, James Bradbury, Marcus Epps, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Reed Blankenship, got to be on your P's and Q's. Josiah Scott, Kevon Wallace, got to be on your P's and Q's. Special teams. You got to play your best brand of football. Everything's in front of you. This is what you work for. This is the energy that we on, right? Make it mean something. Stand for something or fall for anything. And it's straight like that. You guys have been locked in on Chalk It Up Sports. I'm your guy, Tone DeShields II. Look, make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you guys continue to stay engaged in the content, man. I am in love with this. I love the way you guys continue to stay engaged in the live chat. You guys challenge me, hold me accountable, man. And J Love, I know me and you always have a fun back and forth, man. Regardless, no, it's all love, J Love. No, it's all love, J Love. Quizzy the Great, Mint Diggity, Desert Eagle 90, Anthony Dwayne. Who else? Who else we got in the building? Iron Mizzle, General JD, EC1 Football, Smitty Eagles, man, Drew Johnson. I appreciate all the love. Ant Boogie, my little brother. That's my blood brother. My little brother, man. Always showing love. Shout out to Ant Boogie. Mr. Ralph Lauren, man. Understand that the content don't move without y'all. The content don't move without y'all, man. I get vitalized by this stuff, man. You guys put the battery in my back. You guys charge me up because we talk so much football in this thing, and ultimately, it's never no hate. It's always love. You know what it really is? It's the fact that everyone has their own way of dissecting this game, right? Everyone has their own philosophies and beliefs when it comes to football, and the game is so dynamic. The game is so nuanced. No one is really wrong. It's all about who executes it the best. It's all about who breaks it down or breaks down their point the best, right? Challenge bad ideas with good ideas. Challenge bad takes with good takes. Never attack the character of the person you're debating or going up against, right? That's not what it's about. It's never about someone's character. Sure, some people bring their character and how they talk about the game into it. Some people need to be checked. But usually, try to approach it this way. At least I try to, right? Try to approach everything with understanding, rationale, and understand that when you hear a bad idea, challenge it with a good idea. When you hear a bad take or a terrible take, challenge it with a good take, a logical take, a rational take. And that's all I got for you guys, man. I'm your guy, Tone DeShields II from Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. One love, stay humble, stay healthy, and most importantly, stay hungry, you guys.